Hey, welcome in. It's the MyBookie.ag Monday matchup. Lance Taylor, Jim Dunaway. I'm Ryan Brown. MyBookie.ag, code NextRound. Code NextRound for MyBookie.ag. Dunaway, do you give 110% every day?
I don't.
You don't?
I appreciate people like MyBookie.ag for doing that. I rarely give 110%. Some people would tell you it's mathematically impossible, but I believe in people that people can give 110%. I tried, but I like the walk-on that will give 110% and earn that scholarship. The American soldier that'll give 110% and take back a continent when the world has given up on it. That's where my bookie comes in.
Wow.
110%.
Well, I know who's going to give 110% tonight.
Cooper Kupp.
No, me as a fan. I wish Cooper Kupp.
110%. That's what they're giving you as a sign-on bonus right now at MyBookie.ag. This week and this week only, when you use code NextRound at sign-on, 110%. Lance is a Rams fan, the American soldier, the walk-on, and MyBookie.ag. 110% sign-on bonus right now with your initial deposit at MyBookie.ag. Code NextRound to get that. MyBookie.ag, code NextRound. We got 2 games tonight. My team already in the clubhouse. You see Lance has got his Rams gear on. Rams-Bengals tonight. Dunaway's got his Buccaneers gear on. Buccaneers, Eagles tonight. Rams-Bengals, Buccaneers, Eagles. Dunaway, let's start with you. How you feeling about your Bucs tonight at 2-0? A surprising 2-0 coming into this game.
In honor of Michael Douglas, did he just go Glenn Close or whatever her name was? Did he cross
Sharon Stone. Sharon, Lance gave us a little look.
I did, yeah. I actually, unlike her, I've got underwear on. So.
That was a whole lot of Ram there for me. I don't feel good. I mean, our team sucks, and we're 2-0. There's no way this team, this roster, and Baker Mayfield can be 3-0. So just the theory of large numbers, I'm not expecting to win this game tonight. But I didn't expect to win 3 games all year. So this is like bonus money tonight, like 110%. They're giving me 110% of my win expectation.
You didn't need Buccaneers code next round to get that. They just gave it to you, right?
Giving it to me for free. This is like the extra money is what this is. So I'm excited. I mean, I like we don't get many primetime games unless Tom Brady's our quarterback over the years. And so I don't know if 6 o'clock's prime time. Or as they like to call it in Florida, it's dinner time kick at 6 o'clock.
Dude, I would much rather be playing the 6 o'clock than the 7:15. I've told you guys before, I absolutely hate Monday night games.
Well, you're getting one tonight, and your team's playing the Bengals, and it looks like Joe Burrow's going to give it a go. You wanted Joe to get one more week of rest, but it looks like he's going to give it a go tonight.
Yeah, he said the calf feels a lot better, and he is going to start tonight for the Bengals. One of the reasons the number went back from Cincinnati -1.5 to Cincinnati -3. This is so. I think going back to Super Bowl 56, where the Rams beat the Bengals 23-20. Do you guys remember how many times he was sacked in that Super Bowl?
I do not know.
It was 7 times, and he was hit 11 times.
Right.
And that was that postseason where, as good as he was, his offensive line was awful. I think the offensive line is better. I still don't think it's great. The problem for the Rams is their defensive line is so young. I mean, it's still got Aaron Donald there. It's not Aaron Donald that we saw a couple of years ago. But, that's the key to the Bengals, man, whether or not they can protect him. And he just hasn't looked the same. And I think a lot of it has to do with the calf. So it will be very, very interesting to see Burrow and how effective he can be tonight.
Yeah, and you're risking the whole season, right? If you throw him out there early and something more severe happens with that calf, then you've really hurt the whole season. When Jamar Chase sort of stepped up and said, man, let's take off. I need him in November, December, and January.
You mentioned the Bengals are 3-point favorites, total of 45 in that game at MyBookie.ag. Tampa and Philadelphia, 5.5-point favorite on the road to Tampa. A total of 44 in that game. MyBookie.ag, code NextRound. MyBookie.ag, code NextRound to play those. Troy thinks the Rams about to boat race the Bengals. Lance would like to see that.
Oh, I would. Well, look, I've got a side on this game. So I've got total in this game. I've got a side on this game, and I've got a side on the Bucs and the Eagles. You could jump on board at lanceslock.com right now. And we're coming off. We're on Saturday, Sunday. We're plus 11.8 units. Again, we're giving out units this year. First time we've ever done that. Kind of shows you how much we like different games. So in the past, we would just throw out, say, 5 games on a Sunday. Now those 5 games have units put with them, and it kind of tells you how to bet these things. But overall, up 11.8 units over the weekend. So we continue to win. lanceslock.com. Jump on board. No excuse not to jump on board. If you want to win, we will win for you at lanceslock.com.
And here's the way I always look at the unit, Brownie, is to me, I put a dollar value on the unit. Like for my comfort level, okay, 1 unit is, say, $10 or $20 or $40 or $100, whatever your comfort level is. So if it's a 1 unit play, I'm like, okay, that's a $20 bet for me. If it's a 2 unit play, it's a $40. Hell, when he did a 10 unit on Oregon this weekend, I would have put, 10 units. That would have been, big bet for me. I would have bet a lot on that and would have won because that's what he did. So that's how I do the units. But people do it differently. But that's when somebody was asking in the chat room during the live show today, what's this unit talk? And to me, I just put a dollar value on a unit, $10, $5, $100, whatever it is. And if it's a 2 unit play, then you double it, 3 unit, triple it, quad, whatever, all the way up the list. If you want to fade Dunaway, I like the over in the Buccaneer Eagle game. And I like the Bengals, and you can give them as many as you want. It's going to be a bloodbath. Cincinnati in a bloodbath, and a lot of points, mostly Philadelphia points in Tampa. Those are mine. I haven't seen Lance's log, but that's how I'm feeling the game's going. Something like 40-20 in Tampa, and something like a lot to not a lot in Cincinnati.
How you feel about those plays there, LT?
Well, he can't give it away.
Well, we'll see. I feel good about both sides tonight. I feel good about my total, but again, we try to be transparent here on lanceslock.com. I had the Bears yesterday, and I got a text from somebody, and they were like, why are you giving out the Bears again? Please stay away from the Bears. And I might stay away from the Bears moving forward, but I felt decent about them yesterday. You had major upsets. If I would have given out the Cardinals, people would have said the same thing. The Cardinals. Yep. It's the NFL, man. It is crazy. But again, I study this stuff. I've got a formula. I've got a gut on the way these things go. And year number 9, I don't know if I've ever lost in the NFL, to be honest with you. We've had one losing year. Again, 58% last year in the NFL. And I just feel like we're going to have a good night tonight. Close it out.
What was your free play? Because that was the total, right? The free play?
Yeah, I've actually, I can give that out. I've got the Rams and Cincinnati under. And this was before knowing that Burrow was going to play. I leaned he probably wouldn't play. I don't think the total's really been affected by that. It's still sitting at 45.5. Cincinnati's offense hasn't been good. I really don't still trust the Rams running the football effectively. It's 2 very average offensive lines. So I think this thing will play under the 45.5.
Brooks says he needs Puka Nacua to go off for his fantasy. Lance, would you trade Kupp now to get some picks back?
I would not, because Kupp is still young. We're still talking about a guy that is in year number 6.
Right.
And, he had arguably the greatest single season in wide receiver history 2 years ago. He should have won the MVP. He comes back with Puka Nacua and the way Stafford's playing. If those guys can stay healthy, the way Sean McVay draws up plays, and, really want people to watch this tonight that don't watch a lot of Rams football, man. It's much like we saw with Hugh Freeze on Saturday. There are guys that are open, and it's whether or not Stafford's got the time and whether or not Stafford makes the right read. And typically he does when he gets the time.
The official MyBookie.ag code NextRound when you go to MyBookie.ag as we do the MyBookie.ag Monday matchup. The official over-unders here at MyBookie on Puka Nacua. You can give us a lean on these. Over-under on receiving yards. Do you want to guess where they've got it set?
I would say Puka Nacua's receiving yards are 71.
I was going to say 77.
74.5, right in between where you guys had it. So I feel like Lance might lean under. Dunaway, you might lean over 74.5 for Puka.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think he can continue what he's doing right now. He came onto the scene. Nobody knew who the kid really was. But through 2 games, he's got 25 receptions. He's averaging 133 yards per game. I mean, he's been targeted 35 times in 2 games. I mean, this is much like Cooper Kupp was being utilized 2 years ago.
You could see him in meetings like, who am I supposed to cover? Pikachu? What?
Yes.
Who's this guy?
I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, cover this guy.
Over under 6.5 on receptions, by the way. So the receiving yards 74.5, receptions 6.5.
So they're expecting a big drop off against Cincinnati tonight. I don't know if it'll be that much. You know, he's battling an oblique injury. I talked to our friend Brock Hewitt on Unlocked a couple of weeks ago, and you know, he was one of those guys I felt like I stole in the 16th round because nobody had ever seen him before. He's a 5th round draft pick back in May. And I just heard a lot of rumblings through Rams camp that he was going to be really good. And with a Cooper Kupp out, he was going to be a guy that they would really go to. But Brock told me when I brought him up, he was like, you got to watch out. Like, he is injury prone. This is a guy that came out of high school, signed with Washington. You know, it didn't work out there, so he transferred to BYU. And when he was at BYU, he was their go-to guy, but he was banged up all the time.
Joe Burrow passing yards in that game, the over under 251.5 at MyBookie.ag, over under 251.5.
I would go under just based on this. I don't know how you feel, Dunaway, but he's got a strained calf. He could be done in 1 series. Now, he could go out there and light him up for 350, but I think you're getting a little value there. I think it's inflated, and this Rams defense is scrappy.
That's right. I mean, a game time decision, basically what this ended up being. And you go out there and you do, like you said, 1 drop back, one tackle, 1 fall on it, and he's limping off the field again. And you've cashed out in the first quarter. I'm with you. I'd take the under on that.
Stafford pass yards 253.5 tonight. 253.5 for Matt Stafford.
He's made a couple. So he's thrown 2 picks. Both weren't his fault this year. He's only thrown 1 touchdown, but he's averaging 320 a game. So Stafford has been lighting it up. They've got to get more balance. Kyron Williams, Cam Akers out the door now. We know that. So it's going to be a lot of Kyron Williams. And I would think that number is about right. What is the over-under on touchdowns for him? 1.5?
For Stafford?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I had moved to Dunaway.
I'm assuming that over-under is 1.5.
Over-under passing TDs 1.5.
Yeah. I'd probably play that under.
Yeah. MyBookie.ag code NextRound for all these. I thought Dunaway was about to give us a house tour here. MyBookie.ag code NextRound.
But I will tell you that I'm sitting on this sits out here for no reason.
Right.
It's like a tiny little chair.
Yeah.
That sometimes like elves or Santa or Halloween pumpkins sit on, and it is not comfortable. So I had to stand up because my bony ass was hurting.
You say it sits there for no reason, yet there you sit on it.
If our man Tyler Booker sat on that thing, what would happen?
Oh, it'd be a penny. It's like
hey, I got to bring this up because Oregon was a big reason we had a good Saturday.
Okay.
And there's an article on ESPN.com. You can check it out. David Purdom, who you guys know, does all the handicapping stuff. He was talking to some professional gamblers in Vegas, and because they said some of the dumbest gamblers in the world were betting Colorado to win that game outright, it got down to minus 700. And so there were a bunch of big money line bets on Oregon to win the game. But here's what you had to lay to win $5,000, to net a $5,000 win. This one dude bet almost $40,000 on Oregon, and he only made $5,000.
Those bets never make any sense to me, Dunaway. Like, you know, if I've got $40,000 to bet, why do I need another 5,000? Why would I not? I don't know. This just never makes sense.
These are true. You got to think about it like this. These are true professional gamblers.
They're just looking for a win?
Yeah, it would be like if you played the stock and you knew that you could have part of your portfolio, you could make 12% in one day.
Yeah.
And it's hard to make a 12% return. And that's basically what they put on the line. And you never had to sweat that game. You know, I mean, things happen. You get 25-point underdogs win games outright. But that just felt like one of those where there was zero chance Colorado was going to win. So if I had that money laying around, I probably would have played it too.
Yeah, I mean, if Bo Nix had gotten hurt first play, they still win that game.
They still win the game.
Yep. Yeah. No, you're right about that. MyBookie.ag code NextRound. MyBookie.ag code NextRound. Get 110% sign-on bonus when you go to MyBookie.ag with your initial deposit there. That's if you use code NextRound. That is only available this week. MyBookie.ag code NextRound. Dunaway, to your game, we got some player props here. Jalen Hurts passing yards, 238.5 the total. And I'll go ahead and give you his rush yards too while I'm at it. 238.5, 1.5 touchdowns. And his rushing yards, 45.5.
Over.
That's Jalen.
Over and over.
Over across the board for you, huh?
Can you trifecta in that? Can you trifecta that?
I think you probably could if I had to guess.
Over.
So at MyBookie.ag yesterday, although I gave out the Bears, and look, this is the first week, and I can honestly say this, the first weekend I played myself in forever, and I ended up winning. But late afternoon window yesterday, I decided to play Justin Fields over the rushing yards, 61.5. And if he would have gotten enough attempts, if they knew how to call a game, not that he's good, I would have easily gotten that. But you said Jalen Hurts' rushing total again is?
45.5.
He's averaging 36 yards. I would play over there too, I think.
Yeah. Listen, the Buccaneers defense is older. They played really well the first two. Levante is a little beat up at linebacker. He's hobbled a bit, but he's going to play. I just like the Eagles a lot.
Yeah. Baker, his total 229.5, his passing total, and same touchdowns 1.5 for Baker Mayfield. I was going to say his rushing only 11.5, so nothing significant there.
Yeah, I mean, Baker's played really well. Baker's averaging 245 through the air right now. He's averaging 14 on the ground. But he's completing 70% of his passes. He's yet to throw a pick. Him and Mike Evans seem like they've been playing together for a couple of years. I mean, you watch them every weekend, Dunaway, but that's been a deadly duo so far through 2 games.
I would take Baker under that passing total. I feel like he'll scramble twice for 11 yards, though.
I mean, that did seem awful low. And keep in mind now, for those that don't follow us closely, sack yardage in the NFL does not come off the rush yards. It comes off the passing yards.
Right.
So 11.5 seemed a little low to me.
Yeah. Or as we like to call it in Vegas, a sucker bet. Yeah.
Yeah, they got you. Hooked you right in, didn't they?
Well, I mean, it's about right. He's playing, I mean, I guess the best defense they've seen, and he's averaging 14 a game. So 11.5 is about right.
Yeah. It's hard to believe he'll get as much against the Eagles as he did against the Vikings and the Bears, to your point.
Would not touch the 1.5 touchdowns, though.
Yeah.
Touch that with a 10.
That is the one thing that scares me about your Bucs. Well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, that roster scares me. But Rachaad White, is he going to be a go-to guy week in, week out running the football?
So far, so good.
Yeah, you're right about that. Philadelphia, 5.5-point favorite, total of 44. Rams and Bengals. The Bengals, a 3-point favorite, total of 45.5. Again, the free play at lanceslock.com is who?
We are playing the under in the Rams-Bengals game. Even with Burrow back in the lineup, saying he's going to give it a go Monday night, the total did not move at all. I had handicapped this thinking that Burrow wouldn't play, but it doesn't change my mind at all. I play the under 45.5. Again, scrappy defenses on both sides, bad offensive lines.
That's at lanceslock.com, and you can grab those picks and head over to MyBookie.ag, code NextRound. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere at MyBookie.ag. And when you use code NextRound, get a sign-on bonus of 110%. 110% sign-on bonus with your initial deposit for this week only. That's when you go to MyBookie.ag and use code NextRound. MyBookie.ag, code NextRound. We're back with you 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. This has been the MyBookie.ag Monday matchup. Boys, enjoy the game tonight. Good luck to both your teams.
See you guys tomorrow.
All right, see ya. It's the